Hello everyone, this is Joe the Orange, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the longsword weapon in Conquerors Blade. The quick review is, if you're looking for the tankiest of fucking tanks in this game, then go longsword. That's all you need to know. Video over, let's move on. But seriously, if you come into this game and you want to make the tankiest of tanks, you want to be on those front lines, soaking up that damage as if it's nothing, then the longsword is the way to go. Some people will say the short sword, but it really comes down to what you want. The short sword has more damage reduction while the longsword has heals. And a big bloody AoE one that does 46% for yourself, and I think it's 30s. Something like 30% for everyone else. I don't give a shit about them, so I've never looked and checked. Suffice to say, it's a great skill to have, and one I'd recommend you pick up if you do decide to play the longsword. In fact, I can't really imagine choosing anything above that ability. It's that damn good. And that brings me on to the next subject I wanted to talk about, and that was the different abilities you can go with this weapon. The first one is with Vela, and this has the highest DPS output out of your basic skills, but it's on a 20-second cooldown, and it does have a knockdown on the end. You're rarely going to get it off, though sometimes you do, but when considering this ability, I wouldn't think too much about that. If you want a decent troop kill count, I'd recommend it. It's not very useful though when fighting other players. The next skill is Paladin, and I'd say you gotta pick out of Vela or Paladin. You want to have at least one of them. This one has less damage output, but at the same time it is on a 10-second cooldown, and that extra effect that slows the enemy for 50% for 6 seconds, you're going to get off a lot more often. So when it comes to killing players, I prefer Paladin, but when it comes to killing units, I would prefer the with Vela ability. Your next choice is Shield Bash, and it doesn't do much damage, but what it does allow you to do is knock the enemy over, which is very important in this game, and it's your only reliable CC outside of one of your ultimates. A nice added bonus, it does break the enemy's block, which is surprisingly handy. When I first picked the ability, I didn't think the shield break was that important, but once you start using it, you notice how strong it actually is. It's not very useful against units, but man, you want it, just fucking take it, okay? Trust me. Now this here is Mercy of Heaven, and an ability I think you just have to take. It's so damn strong. As you can see, it heals you for 10% instantly and another 36% of your health over time. Not only that, it does heal your allies, and the cooldown is only 20 seconds, which is bloody amazing. And in this game, there's not many options to heal outside of the bandages. Technically, this is the only healer in the game. There is no other way to heal your allies at the moment, which makes this class/weapon choice very hard to pass up when you're forming a group. You want one of them to be in your party. At least I definitely do. The next one is Martial Prowess. This one is really good if you want to be even tankier. It doesn't do much damage, but it restores 5% of your health and gives you some damage reduction. Personally, I go Mercy of Heaven, and that's enough healing for me, so I don't take this ability. The cooldown on it is very short. You might even replace Mercy of Heaven with it. If you're fucking crazy, I wouldn't, but there is that option out there. You could go Martial Prowess and Mercy of Heaven together just to make yourself unbelievably hard to kill, but your DPS will suffer because of that. The next skill is Knightly Vows, that increases your speed by 50% for 8 seconds, as well as increasing your allies' speed. But have a look at that cooldown, 42 seconds. Not only that, you're going to have to lose one of your other abilities, either your heals or your damage, and your damage is already very low when using a long sword. So if you go this and heals, man, you're going to be just a support bot that does no damage to the enemy. Another thing to consider, 42 seconds is not far away from what the ultimate cooldowns are. It's ridiculously long, which makes me think there must be something fucking good about it, because if you're designing the game and you're looking at all the abilities, why the hell would you give this one a giant cooldown? It's not that fucking great. Maybe more movement speed makes your unit charges stronger? I'm not sure. On paper, it's a horrible ability, but I just think there has to be some secret to that thing. Let's move on to the first ultimate, which is Clash of Shields. It speeds you up, does massive damage, knocks the enemy over and slows them. And all for a 50-second cooldown. This is the one I bloody love. It also continues after you hit the first target, so you can go around and hit the units as well. It's actually very good at killing units. If you see some archers at the back, you can pop this to get to them and then demolish through them. What I enjoy doing is when I've hit a player, try to come around the back of them. That way you block them from escaping at least a little bit. So it's a multi-purpose thing. It's great for damaging units, for damaging heroes, slowing the enemy down, CCing everyone with a knockdown. And it doesn't say it on the tooltip, but it definitely does knock them down. The other ultimate is Sally Forth. It does a lot more damage, and it's great if you can get it off. It does have a knockdown on the second hit. The only thing it lacks compared to Clash of Shields is the chasing potential, as well as not knocking the enemy down on the first hit, so it is possible you could miss almost the whole combo. Pretty much when it comes to picking the ultimate for the longsword, you can go with the safe bet or the risky high damage one. With that said, let's jump into some gameplay, and this is the best scenario when you are playing the longsword. You want to get yourself into every big brawl, because you can provide heals for your team and you have that survivability to stand there and take a few hits. So these are parts of the battlefield you want to be searching for. It's not like the Dual Blade where you can sneak around and solo someone. Of course you could solo someone, but they would have to stand there for about 10 years as you wail on them. Your damage output isn't great at all, but since you are really tanky, you can stay in these fights forever. And that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be standing there doing bugger all. You are the front line, you have to get up in the action. People will follow you because you do tank and you can provide heals for them. And as you can see, I just missed my shield bash. That's why I go abilities with short cooldowns. That way, it doesn't matter too much. Also, when you are in long fights, you want something to click. If you go that nightly vows bullshit, what, you click a button every 43 seconds? Fucking useless. As you can see, your damage isn't that impressive. I did chip away his health a fair bit, but it's nothing like the spear or the poleaxe, and here I am standing in the circle surrounded by the enemies, swinging and missing. That's just an intimidation factor. Do that. It's a very good idea. I also rolled into a stun, but you will notice my health is still right at the top. That's because I have the magical powers of healing, and that is just a great ability. In an emergency, I can always run away and bandage, but that rarely happens unless you're scrub. So it happens a few times in this game. You may have noticed a few people teleporting across the map. That's because I am playing on the EU servers, which gives me 340 ping. It's my shitty internet, not the actual game. So if you are in Australia, I recommend you play on NA, but EU does have better queues. It's also one of the reasons I went the longsword. It's a very forgiving class if you're new to the game. Having that survivability is very good when you're trying to get used to the in-game mechanics. Also, you want to be popping that heal constantly because it does heal your units as well as your allies. So even if you're on full health but your allies are a bit low, pop it anyway. I forget to do that all the time, but you should do it. If you want to be a nice guy, you know, you want to be a bit of a champ, help people out and shit. As you can see, because you're in battle constantly, you are a assist machine. You're getting assists 24/7. Not many kills because, yeah, you don't have the best damage output. But does it really matter at the end of the day? You're knocking people over, your allies finish them off, they're still dead. And that's what the longsword is all about. It provides so much for your team. They're always going to have someone up there fighting with them, providing heals and stun effects. Well, should I say knockovers. Also, everyone likes you. They're like, man, this guy, bloody providing me heals and giving me kills. What more could you ask for in an ally? So to sum it up, it's good for beginners. It's probably going to be very easy to find a team because you provide so many benefits. And in my opinion, it's fun to play. You just never bloody die. Occasionally you will, and usually that's because you get overconfident because you haven't died for so long. You're like, man, I'm bloody immortal. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and thumbs up and all that bullshit. And I'll see you next time.
no, 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 no.